I'd like to ask how many people here are mobile developers? Okay, and do you have some experience with blockchain or heard about blockchain technology? Okay, perfect. So for this presentation, I'm representing Watson CXA, Customer Experience Analytics mobile group. Basically, what we do is we provide journey type of analytics from end users' point of view when they interact with your application through like mobile device or website, and we provide mobile SDKs to allow you to capture how users interact within your application. And I will be demonstrating a sample blockchain application that does the integration with the mobile SDK. And my name is Chang Jie Yang. I'm the Android lead developer for the mobile SDK. And I'm going to be focused on an Android specific application. Our product supports a number of platforms. The main ones being Android, iOS, web, and hybrid scenarios. So if your application happens to be Android, we provide you SDK. And if you have a hybrid application like Cordova or other type of applications, we also support that kind of integration. So from a high-level point of view, the end user interacts with your application via mobile devices or via website. And once your application integrates with our SDK, basically the data goes to the cloud server. And the cloud server basically provides you with deep analytics tools and replay capabilities to see how the user interacts within your application. Struggles like some of the elements, UI elements might not work, or there's some bugs or some crashes. So the server provides many ways to allow you to analyze what's going on down to a particular session, step by step. So the picture here on the bottom basically allow you to kind of like looking at it from a business point of view, like what's going on within that session. And in this example, we have a workboard application. And on the left side, it's like a navigation list. And the numbers being the screen that we capture for the application. I will demonstrate step by step later of what's going on. So the agenda for today's presentation is CXA Mobile from developer perspective. So if you're a developer, what you need to know about our SDK and how do you get started. So the next thing I'm talking about is a blockchain Ethereum-based wallet application, which I developed for this presentation, and to show how you can integrate with our Android SDK. And some of the key instrumentation steps that is required in order for you to capture the user interaction and the user experience with your app. And I will do a live demo with app integration and the replay session. So the developer perspective, you do have to do some work because you are integrating external library. We try our best to minimize the amount of coding or manual instrumentation steps within your application. And I'm going to show you how to integrate with our SDK and also do some quick configurations, how you can leverage our SDK's features to quickly do like privacy masking and skipping of certain screens, because that screen might be very sensitive to end users. Now, the topic applies to blockchain because I feel blockchain technology is very new, is revolutionizing the industry, but the end users are still very unfamiliar with your applications. So they need, they need to have a very intuitive way to interact with your blockchain application. So our SDK also supports a number of hybrids, as I mentioned, like Cordova, Ionic, Crosswalk, or Google WebView. And we support mobile first, which is IBM product. And also we support Android API level 15 to 25. So the basic requirement is, I'm assuming here some people might have some mobile development experience, some people might not, in order to develop a successful Android application. So basically you need Android Studio, and you need emulator or device. And you can pick, in this case, we have Ethereum blockchain client. I happen to like Parity. It's one of the popular clients because it provides a very cool interface, allow you to interact with the account and other functions. So it basically acts like a gateway to blockchain applications. You can also choose inferior cloud. The difference is with the inferior cloud, you don't have to sync any of the blocks. The blocks will be handled by the cloud server. So you don't have to wait, like hours sometimes. Depends on the total block size. You can also choose Mist, which is another popular one that the community use, or GIF. I believe there's also Ethereum J for Java. I forgot to put it there. So, but for this presentation, I'm going to use Parity. So there is a wrapper library called Web3j, which I like so much because it's very lightweight, and you don't have to spend a lot of time to configure the library. It's very fast. And the last thing is the TLeaf SDK installation. Just to mention, the TLeaf is the product my group used to name, and it was acquired by IBM. So so sample code might appear to have like TLeaf dot in the Java code. So SDK instrumentation point, basically you install TLeaf SDK libraries. You basically have to set up the libraries, and then you update the build.gradle file within your Android Studio project. And you will configure the activity of fragment lifecycle events so you can capture the interactions within the application. When the screen transitions from one to another, then our library knows when to capture the UI screen for you. And the capture information basically will be JSON format. So the payload will be JSON, so that we can minimize the amount of network traffic going to the server. We also capture UI events, which I will demonstrate in the live demo. Basically clicks, and it will appear on the replay server. And another main thing I want to demo here is privacy settings, because blockchain has a lot of sensitive information. As a user, we sometimes feel that we don't want to have that information stored on the cloud, if ever. And the SDK provides a way to allow you to mask the sensitive data, like the password or account number, account balance, and stuff like that, with the ID and regex. And you can decide with some properties, JSON property settings, where you want to log a particular screen or skip logging that screen for privacy reasons. Okay, and we are ready for the demo. Does anybody have any question at this point? Okay, good.
One question. Why did you pick Ethereum versus some other blockchain technologies?
I happen to be more familiar with Ethereum, and I like the way that it's able to do smart contracts. It has a lot of good documentations and community support. And I happen to have an Ethereum wallet as well. So I'm going to launch Android Studio. this is the most recommended way these days to develop for Android applications. But of course, you can use other tools. But Google kind of make it really easy for you to not to use it. And then we're going to launch an emulator. So you click on this button, and we're going to choose API level 25. So that should launch in a minute. Perfect. Now I'm going to go to my terminal window, and we're going to run a command. So I have, before the conference, I have synced with Ethereum Coven testnet before, so it wouldn't take hours to sync from the Genesis block. So it will be a lot faster. It's kind of small, I guess. Let me try to zoom in so we can take a quick look at the command to launch the parity. So first you have to install parity, and then you can run this command. So what we specify here is to communicate with the common network, and the what basically allow you to sync with your peers quickly. And then another interesting thing, it's JSON RPC host. So you have to specify when you develop within your emulator. Otherwise, you might get server errors. And then the remote procedure calls, which is what Ethereum client hosts basically allow you to communicate within the Android application with these type of modules, personal, ETH, and Web3. So you can choose. I'm sorry? What I'm trying to do is launch the client so we can communicate with Ethereum network, test network with our application.
Yeah, you mentioned we need to install something before.
Yes, parity. I have some reference links at the end, so I can share that. So right now, we just launched the client, and it's trying to sync up with the peers. So usually, it's set to communicate with 25 peers. So a peer means another node somewhere else within, hopefully not too far away, so it'll be faster when you sync. So I believe right now it's ready. It inputted, it has these input statements where these are the blocks, the new blocks that's coming from the peers, and we have 11 peers right now. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the client. So this is the nice client interface I was talking about. So basically, this one provides you like a gateway to the Ethereum decentralized apps and the accounts that you have. And there's a lot of information. I highly recommend that you go check it out yourself. And for the demo, I have created 2 test accounts. One is called Test Carbon 1 and Test Carbon 2. And the first one has some Ether. Ether is a token on the Ethereum block network. Does anybody know what Ether means, token? OK, good. Basically, what we try to demonstrate here is with the blockchain wallet application, we will transfer some Ether to the second account in the application. So this application I have already configured to run with the SDK. So just to quickly point out some of the things that I did. But before I even go further, does anybody here familiar with Android development? OK, perfect. OK, good. So our library, our SDK provides some jar files, so it's compatible for Eclipse applications and Android applications. And we have modularized jars for the SDK. So this is where it's going to live. And we also provide assets so that we have an easy way to configure to any kind of mobile applications. And some of the important things that I just want to point out is, So the post message URL is responsible for sending your data to the server. So the endpoint could be, could be a host. Oh, you want? Okay, sorry. Let me zoom in. Better? So this is the endpoint where the JSON payload going to be sent to. I'm not going to go into too much detail about each configuration items, but we try to make it flexible so you can configure many things. And also the app key integration, which is our SaaS server offering. Basically, you don't have to do anything on the server front. You just use a application key, and the SaaS portal knows where your data is supposed to go to, how to link for reporting and for other purposes.
Can you show the Gradle dependency?
Gradle, yes, that's what I'm going to go into next. Good question. Because that's very important for Android developers. So for Gradle here, we have, let me zoom in again. We have a few dependencies that we want to share. So one of the tools that we use is called SBJ, which is a meta programming library allow you to programmatically inject into your Android code or Java code so that you don't have to do manual implementation for most of the cases. So that's one of the requirements for the SDK. And what I learned is that when you develop blockchain application within Java, you want to enable the multi-dex because the methods going to be compiled will be exceeding the limit. So you will basically compile this SBJ library here. And for this demo, I basically use this Web3J very cool library that I love. It's called Web3J Core, and you can just, if you want to, like, let's see, if you want to add it to your library.
Why don't you use the delete on the dependency?
I'm sorry?
You get the delete jar, right? So why don't you just use the dependency?
We are using the dependencies. Yes, it's compiled because if you look at this, it's under the list folder, so it knows how to compile. But basically, like if you want to add library dependencies, like Web3J, you can do a search. So it's on the populate domain, so it's very easy for you to set up. Okay. Let me maximize this. And a few of the key configuration items that I want to point out is, so besides the basic tleaf basic config property, we also have a JSON file, basically allow you to specify, can you guys see it? Okay, bigger. Basically, each entry here represents a screen or activity in Android. And what you can do here is specify which screen that you want to capture. So when the flag says do true, that means when the activity resumes to the user, we will do a screen capture for you, and you can specify the delay value so that the UI will be ready for capturing. So it's for replay purposes. Because sometimes UI might take longer to render, then you might capture some screen that is not quite like the actual app. So that's the main reason. And text screenshot will basically generate a JPEG file or image file instead of JSON metadata. So you can specify it. So in this application, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 activities. So I'm going to, let's see, run this application. And I'm going to target the emulator. splash activity. So the screen we're looking at is actually connected to the parity client. So it knows the version it's working with, and it's using Rust programming language. So we can go ahead and click on Create Account. So this is one of the screens that a lot of wallet applications will have to deal with when you create a new account. There's a lot of private information, very sensitive information, like passphrase that you should never capture. So what do we have to do, right? So I'm going to click on Confirm. I'm going to continue. So I'm actually looking at my Ethereum account that is using the Task Covenant 1 account. And if you guys look at the bottom right, it has synced. I think it's pretty up to date. It has over 4 million blocks and is talking to Coven. So be careful. Sometimes if you're not being careful, you might connect to the mainnet, and that could be permanent. Something you might not want to do. So I always check just in case. So it has the balance 4.98 and has more decimals points. So what we're going to do here is look at the screen, and you notice immediately, like, address is kind of long, and user experience, I'm not sure how you would design it. So that's the thing that we want to help users instead of designing something that is very like geeky, but essential to for address or blockchain type of applications. So you might want to redesign the whole experience. So our SDK will help you with that. I'll show you in a minute. So we're going to send Ether. Again, this is going to be sent to the Task Covenant 2 network. I mean, a user account on the Covenant network. And we have specified 0.5 Ether. So at this point, we're going to try to send it, and hopefully it will be transacted quickly. Now, to make it faster, sometimes it's not up to you. It's up to the network congestion. If the network is very congested, like in the mainnet, it could take like several minutes or much longer, depends. So we're going to click on Send Ether. And then it says transaction sent. So boom. I love that. I don't know if you guys saw that. It went from the first account to the second account, and is currently being confirmed by the peers within the task network. And we can go ahead and click on OK. And so this is one of the flow I want to show you. Now, the next thing I want to show is, so how does it look like on a server? So if we go back to the Android Studio project, we have a logcat. And our SDK library provides a way to filter on specific key information, like the post tags responding from sending the metadata to the network. So as you can see, there's a lot of JSON stuff there. So that is actually what's being sent to the server. So what I did was I copied the session ID because I want to look up that particular session. So this is our portal, the SaaS portal, where I configured to talk to Aurora.com. So for this talk, I'm not going to talk specific about the whole server suite about what's out there. You can use our free trial, or can look it up some other time, where you can see when you have a session, when you have a lot of sessions, you can look at the heat map. You can see how the user interact with your application. If there's so many sessions of mobile divided into like Android, iOS, so you can get all that information within the portal. So I'm going to search, let's see, by session attribute. I think I might have to go back because I had logged in before, so I might need to go back again. Let me double check if we're online. Okay, we are online. Of course, it always happens when you do a live demo. I'm looking at the cloud server. So let's give it, let's see, another minute. Safari. Okay, looks like it's back online. Okay, I'm going to do a session search. It looks like the server is not cooperating. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to another server. I just need to find the information. So let's see. Okay, I think I have it saved right here. So we're going to have to run another session. For some reason, this is not connecting. Let me give it one more try. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I'm going to give it one more try. If this server is still not responding, I'm going to redirect to another server. Okay, looks like there's some unexpected maintenance. So yeah, the search is out. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the same mobile session again, and we're going to point it to a different server. So let's run this. We're going to go through the same scenario, and home, parity, this is the Parity's homepage. We're going to look at the accounts. I'm going to quickly click through this time. And we got a sensitive information page. And we're going to do another transaction to the second test account. So transaction sent. He got 1 Ether now, 2.5 transactions. Okay, so now we have another session. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to try to log in. So I'm still hopeful that we can still connect. If not, then I will complete the demo with Q&A. Again, I'm trying to do a session search on all sessions. The interface is a little bit different because this is our on-prem server. Okay, maybe Sunday there's a lot of maintenance going on with the admin guys that I'm not aware of. So let's see. There's one. Let's see. There's one thing we can also try. There, let's see if this server is good. So. So I happen to have a previous session saved, so I'm trying to see if I can open it up. So at least we can see some information on the stuff that we captured. But this is going to be more like, no, this is not the correct. Let's see. This is older session, not this app. They modified. Okay, hopefully this one is from yesterday. Okay, so I think this is what we're looking for. So unfortunately, I'm unable to demonstrate all those steps from the beginning to the end. But the idea here is our replay server will capture user interactions, and this happened to be one of the screens. This is my account balance screen, and with with the application design, if you don't mask, this is what the server will capture. So imagine all those previous screens, we capture exactly what's shown on the screen. You probably don't want that because this is very sensitive information. So what our product does is allow you to quickly mask those information using this property. It's called mask ID list. Basically, you can specify an Android ID or regular expression to mask any of those properties, so that when you capture, it will be like pound, 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 or any specific combination you want to show, and this way you don't have to worry about user privacy. And also, unfortunately, I cannot show it. If you, I still can point out from looking at from the JSON layout file. So remember, we have a pass face activity. If we go back to the app again, I'm going to launch the app again. So when we create an account, we go to a very sensitive screen called Create Pass Face. So this pass face is mapped with pass face activity. So pass face activity basically controls the screen logging mechanism behind the scene. So if you want to just skip that screen, all you have to do is set it to false, and our SDK will not log that screen. So you will see basically splash activities, or we call it splash, by giving it a more user-friendly name, or call it the main activity, call it home instead of main activity, and etc. So you can quickly turn off screen logging by updating a flag in the JSON file. So SDK will know what to skip. So I think at this point I'm running out of time, and I'm going to answer any questions you may have. The links? Okay, I can share the links if you want to take a screenshot. Or well, the parity is more like your app. So imagine your app is that Ethereum wallet application. So it depends on which host that you want to target. You can talk to, Ethereum J, client if you want to. If you want to talk to GIF client, you can still talk to it. So that's the powerful thing that Web3J provides. You can talk to any kind of client, and all you have to do is, let's see, is to configure. Let me see. The IP address. So this is a simple Web3G factory, and this is the HTTP service that provides the RPC calls, and you can specify it right there. So in this case, we are talking to 10.0.2.2 because this is the emulator's localhost port. Yes? No, before it was some server hiccup. The server was not responding. The SDK already sent. So if you remember, we saw the session ID. It did. It did send to the server. No, the server page was not rendering because the server was under maintenance. So, but the SDK already sent the data. That's my point. Depends on the server. Like if you go with our SaaS server, it has a distributed CDN, so it should be pretty fast. No, I was referring to the Ethereum network. It's a blockchain network. Our SDK try to capture the metadata in JSON format. So most likely, it will be under like, 10K or, something like that. Depends on the size of your UI elements. Yes, exactly. But they're working on improving the transaction speed, which is still very impressive, right? Because it's able to do. I think today maybe like on the mainnet, a couple minutes per transaction. But the next version, I believe, will be much faster. No, SDK don't have that kind of issue. It's just plain HTTP request to the server, and we post the JSON payload. Right. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions?
So actually, what is the stack for that one? I see your reference, right? There is the Web3J.
Yes.
Also the Biography, and then for the Biography, you can run the Ethereum
Client, basically. You're running it as a node. And the node talks to its peers. So, let's say you have a transaction. You have to send the transaction to the peers for confirmation. And the confirmation sometimes could take some time. And the way they solve it is increase the gas. Basically, you have to pay more for the miners to quickly respond to your request. Yeah. So in our case, because we want to demonstrate fast, that's why it seems like only a couple of seconds. But in reality, it takes much longer than that. Yes, I plan to open source it, and I can maybe give you a link after this. Yeah, I haven't put it out there yet. If you're interested, let me know. So again, our main offering here from Watson Customer Experience Analytics point of view, we provide SDKs, allow you to interact, integrate with your app, and then capture the metadata that the user, interact with your application. So you can analyze on the portal server to see what's going on, the session, the number of sessions, how many users on Android versus on iOS, and et cetera. And there's a lot more than we can cover today. T-Leaf was acquired by IBM several years ago. So we working out in San Francisco on Howard Street, and we have basically integrated with the Watson Customer Engagement group. So we are part of the offering. They call it Journey, which has much broader suite of software as a service. For this sample app, yes, it should. Yes. Yeah. The cool thing is the Web3J. It provides the wrapper, and it's compatible with the protocols. And I also have shared this link on the slide share, which is the author that creates the Web3J. You can you can have more in-depth knowledge about how to interact with the network. Yes, we do have some business cards out there. You can use our trial, the CX trial version, and we do provide all those information. Yeah, but for the sample application, it's something I developed, to demonstrate the SDK could be used by blockchain applications, could be used by other kind of applications. Okay. In this application, it's a wallet specific. Yes. But you, of course, if you want, but the API itself, the Web3j does not limit you to just wallet. You can create smart contracts as well. So it does not have the 100% from what I understand. It tried to make it lightweight, but it should cover most of the cases. So I tried Ethereum J, and the Java version of, the original Java version of the library, it was very large, it's like 20 megabytes. So I decided to give Web3j a try, and sure enough, the library size is very small. So the APK itself was like 3, let's see, the whole APK after you compile, it's like 3 megabytes. Yeah, it's very small. Okay, well, we can talk after this because I think it might be still recording. So thanks for coming.